Hey all, happy Valentine's Day, or Singles Awareness Day, as my sorority sisters like to call it. SAD, sad, get it? Anyway, I just wanted to share with you all. I've been having a really rough time. Being a really open, vulnerable. It's, a little scary to be this vulnerable, especially when you're often in a teaching position or whatever. But if you're going to be a teacher, you have to be a student first. So I'm in a really tough transition in shamanic terms, or like in I guess like spiritual terms. I would say I'm like in the dark of the moon. It's like that creative time right before the new beginning starts, and right after the old cycle is ending, and it's like a very it can be a really difficult time. It's like the dark. It's always darkest before the dawn. It's like that whole trying to hang in there and have faith thing. For me personally, it's not so much about Valentine's Day as it has been about losing community, being in LA, which can be a very, very isolating place. And I really miss having a really tight sense of community and being seen or understood. And I have a few really wonderful people here around me and have amazing clients, of course. You might be one of them. But I just am doing this because I need to let you know that even when you're going through heartbreak or absolute depression or anxiety, I had like kind of a little, I had to cry really hard tonight. And my mom and I call it a toxic dump. So if you need to have a toxic dump, that's okay. Like letting go, really letting go of that pain you've been holding on to. I heard once that people say crying or breaking apart or having a breakdown is not about because you're not strong. It's because you've had to be strong for too long. And I think there's a lot of truth in that. I think that there's a lot of truth in having to be strong for too long, and you can only take so much energy or pressure until you break and release. Everybody needs that release. So if you're feeling, this is not quite the same as breakdown to breakthrough or what to do if you're feeling stuck in blue. That's a little bit like the blues. It's kind of like they talk about my favorite movie, Breakfast at Tiffany. She's like, no, the blues are just because you've been sad or you're getting fat or it's been raining too long. But the mean reds are horrible. So I'm talking about the mean reds here. This is like suddenly you feel afraid and you don't know what you're afraid of. And it's like that spinning out of control, catastrophizing everything. It's not just one thing, like, oh no, this one little thing. It's like everything will feel like it's really difficult, and it's the big meltdown. So I just wanted to say one of the best things you can do when you're in that space is to give yourself a minute. Just let yourself do it. Let yourself cry. Let yourself go there and do that release. You don't want to be shoving down at that moment, because it's like contents are under so much pressure. You can't, when the dam breaks, you can't put the water back in. It's really a good time to let yourself release. Let yourself have that minute. Let the stuff come out. It's like better out than in at that point. So you have to let the floodgates run their course. Don't try to be making decisions from this panicked place. Don't try to fix things or rationalize. If you're with somebody who's having a panic attack, your only job is to tell them, don't worry about anything else. Just try to breathe and calm down. That's it. That's all you're allowed to do. And you can do crowd control. If there's other people watching, just be like, go away, we've got this. That happened to me in the catacombs, actually. I was with a girl who was so anxious because she was claustrophobic and didn't realize how anxious she was until we got out of the catacombs, and then she had a complete freak out, like a full-blown anxiety attack. And I've helped a lot of people through that, especially when I was a lifeguard. I've seen it too. And one of the best things you can do for someone else in that space is not asking questions or telling them it's all going to be okay. Because at that moment, it's like reptilian brain. Nobody's rationalizing. At that point, you're just releasing. So what you can do is breathe with them. And you say, just try to match my breathing. And if you can't, that's okay. Just try to, and you want to get them to exhale as long as they can. So it's like the whole paper bag idea was to get people to exhale. Because what happens is when you are hyperventilating from anxiety, you're getting too much of that toxic chemical in your body, and you need to release it from exhaling. So you can do paper bag if you have one around, but not many people have one lying around. So you just breathe out. So it's like, breathe with me, in, 2, 3, and it's like breathe out. Keep breathing out. It gives them something to focus on aside from their problems or what's making them anxious. And that's enough at that moment. So once they're past that, then it's about calming down. It's about the initial breathing, and then it's like doing something soothing. This is not the time to fix your life. This is not the time to talk things out. That comes the next day usually, or whatever. At this point, it's just about self-soothing, calming down, knowing it's going to be okay for now. Like, you can fix it later, but you're going to be okay for now. So it's completely fine to feel that way. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to not be okay in the moment. Everybody has those human emotions where they're losing it. It's okay as long as it's not ongoing. Then at that point, if it's ongoing, it's time to get some help, probably counseling or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that either. So let yourself have your meltdowns when you need to have a big meltdown. Usually it's been a long time building. And whether you be coupled or single, happy Valentine's Day. My pink champagne, here's to you. And it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Heartbreak, disappointment, depression, they don't last forever unless you let them. So just let it be okay to not be okay. And take care of yourselves and have a good night.